Emojis have become nigh omnipresent in the world of communication. This is a sin which I cannot abide. Hello everyone on the internet, I'm known as Grungle, and today I'm talking about my disdain for emojis. So, what's my problem with them? Well, a lot of reasons actually. First of all, they look remarkably creepy to me. I know this must sound strange, but essentially, why they're creepy is because of something called the uncanny valley. It's the idea that there's a certain threshold at which something becomes human enough you can recognize it's supposed to be human, but it's not human enough for you to recognize it as a human being. So it's this weird, uncomfortable feeling of, this isn't what it's supposed to be. Emojis are clearly not human, right? They're yellow, they don't always have noses, they're spherical, but at the same time they're three-dimensional and they're shaded, and they have sometimes they have realistic human eyes and mouths, and so to me it just doesn't feel right. They feel too human. I don't want to have an existential crisis whenever I open up a text message, right? And as for the second reason I don't really like them, they don't gel with text. Text is a group of simple, two-dimensional abstract shapes. You know, they're flat, and then it's very straightforward. Then you put this three-dimensional, complex-looking being next to it, and it just makes the emoji look even more out of place than it already did. Like, why would you do that? Hello, everyone. As you know, I really hate emojis, but I need to sort of know. In order for this to be an unbiased report, I kind of need to get a second opinion, right? It's not very. There's only so many ways I can say I hate emojis from the bottom of my soul before it gets boring. So I brought my good friend Stuart, here.
Hello.
Yeah, to discuss emojis, and I'm just gonna have a pleasant interview, and hopefully spice up what would otherwise be me complaining about an abstract concept for 5 minutes. So, Stu, buddy old pal, what do you like or dislike about emojis?
I think the concept of it can work. Like, using small drawings instead of words, because that's, easier for humans to comprehend. But God, they look terrible.
I agree.
It's not good. Also, it's all boomers using them.
That's true. Only boomers use emojis to the extent everyone thinks teenagers use emojis.
Yeah, the only time that I ever use an emoji is ironically.
Yeah, same. The only emojis I use unironically are probably like the A-OK emoji, the one which is like... I can guess like in editing I can put a picture of it on the screen, I suppose, because that's the magic of editing. But so yeah, but other than that, emojis just kind of suck. So like that kind of leads me to the other thing. You said they look disgusting, right? To me, they're actually slightly horrific, like Uncanny Valley. It's like they're photorealistic enough but they're like, it's like a smiley face, but it's like extra steps. It's closer to being human, and that makes me incredibly uncomfortable. How about you?
I also think that they don't really convey the emotion they're trying to. Like, when I see the sideways laughing, crying emoji, I'm filled with dread instead of joy, because I know that a boomer just typed that and is probably going to say something either ignorant, racist, or both.
Alright. It also kind of reminds me, like, take for example, there's been a trend in meme culture, the cursed emoji.
Yes.
Like the various cursed emojis, and I guess also recently there's the one where just someone puts like an eye, mouth, and an eye to make this really creepy looking staring face. See, that meme probably wouldn't exist if emojis weren't cursed enough at some point that people are just going to tip it over the deep end. Like,
exactly.
Memes are a very important part of its satire, and oftentimes people do that by exaggerating. So if you get something that's like as photorealistic and horrific as some of these cursed emojis are, that kind of has to come from a place of, this makes me uncomfortable. I need to make everyone feel as uncomfortable as I do.
Honestly, the staring face is kind of one of my favorite things at the moment, just because
Vibe check.
magnifique.
It is pretty funny. But that leads me to a question. Is there any artistic merit in the emoji? Is there, like... Does it have any artistic value?
I'm not sure. Because, obviously, they're a mass-produced design, so there was a lot of artists working on them or whatever. But I think you brought this up in our graphic design class last year a few times.
Oh yeah, we shared a graphic design class, by the way.
Yeah. It's very, like, modern-era graphic design. Like, it's all gradients and intense colors. And I don't really like it.
Okay, actually, that kind of reminds me. I've actually, you don't know this, of course, because you haven't watched the video that I'm making, using this to make, but I go over earlier the fact that I think that emojis are stuck in a particular era of graphic design.
Grungle had actually recorded the interview first, and forgot to mention this point in his rant. However, he thought he had explained it well enough here that he decided to leave it as is.
Well, it is certainly more modern. It's like 2004 to 2013. That sort of aesthetic. There was a lot of like gradient graphics and stuff. Like for example, if you look at like logos from like the early 2000s, like the Facebook logo, gradients, Twitter logo, gradients, and now like they don't have that at all. It's just pure straightforward colors. That's like the graphic language of today. And I mean, also you're using emojis with words, which are these flat two-dimensional things that are designed to look as straightforward and simple as you possibly can. There are entire people whose job is making a font readable. And then you throw in this complex, shaded, horrific, eldritch monstrosity next to it, and that just doesn't work.
Yeah, also the emoji art style isn't consistent.
That is also true.
It's not like the animals have so much detail, and then the freaking whoops.
Okay, I can edit that out. Don't worry. I can put a funny cartoon sound effect to censor it.
Alright. And then the faces that everybody uses are just like these yellow orbs with weirdly detailed mouths.
And eyes. The eyes. See what I mean? Yeah. See, this is what I mean. It's Uncanny Valley. It's the Uncanny Valley. That's what gets me about it. But yeah. We sort of got a bit off topic there. As for artistic merit, I think they do, because as soon as we start saying this doesn't have artistic merit, then we go down a very slippery slope of what is art and what isn't art, and like censorship in 1984 and whatever. So for the safety of humankind, I kind of have to say emojis have artistic merit, even though I hate them.
They have like the same kind of artistic merit as neon personas. Like, they're definitely artwork. But are they pleasing to look at?
Yeah,
not really.
Yeah, it's fair. But I guess also, fun fact, one of the questions I was going to ask is, are they obnoxious? But I think we've made it abundantly clear what we think on that stance. So
yes.
So I think that's all. I think that's all we have for today. Stuart, thank you for coming on and joining me on this, giving a second opinion, so I don't sound like just some insane maniac rambling to the wind. Do you want me to give you like a shout out or anything?
I don't think so. I mean, if you want to follow my art account on Instagram, it's Stu the Pan, STU. Everything else is spelled how it sounds, no punctuation.
Alright, well, you heard the man. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this interview, and back to your regularly scheduled programming. What sucks even more is that there was a system before this that solved these issues, right? The system being emoticons. I'm going to put an example up on screen in case you youngins haven't heard of them before. They're made of text elements, so they work with the text. They're two-dimensional. They're not overly detailed and three-dimensional, so they don't look too human. They're nice and abstract, so they're cute without causing existential dread. And you can still tell what emotions they're trying to convey. And on top of that, if you're operating on like a PC or something, you don't have to go through a whole separate menu because like they're made of text symbols. They already come with the keyboard. And all you need really is a little bit of creativity, and you can do a lot of cool stuff. Like, is part of the fun is making up your own, But nowadays, you put an emoticon into like a text message, and it autocorrects it into this, be honest, even grosser clip art of like an emoji. Like, my friend's dog died, right? And I sent a sad face emoticon, and it autocorrected to the sarcastic, rolling your eyes emoji. Seriously? His dog just died. Why on earth would I want a sarcastic emoji? That's just so stupid. What do you make me look like an asshole, Messages Plus? So, in conclusion, emojis are awful, and I hate them. And don't get me started on the Emoji Movie. That requires a whole separate video. And speaking of videos, if you liked this one, please like and subscribe, comment, whatever. You should probably know how YouTube works at this point. But yeah, this has been Grungle. Peace.